and I want to take you on a walkthrough through the app. So I've renamed some things from what might be in the course content, but most of this stuff is very similar. So I gave it a title, Hangman. I have a label here for enter your guess. I have a display to show what's actually happening in the game, and there's an error display here that's also hidden. Right here, I have where people are going to put in their guess. Now, this is an important part of designing this app. What you need to do with the text field here is you need to right-click on it, and you need to choose what events it's going to be looking for. This is gonna frame how your code is going to run. So originally I had set to an action that was performed, like hitting the enter key. In the code, though, what we actually want to see happen is actually every time somebody presses a key, like entering a character, we capture that. So I've changed the event now to be the key and it being pressed and then capturing that event. So we come down into the source code. It creates this function here, input box key pressed, and it captures the key event and calls it EVT. I'm going to use that key event now to get the information that I need. Okay, so I'm going to run the game once just to see how it plays. So it's going to ask me to enter a guess. I'm going to put in A, and it captures that A and it then uses it in part of its computation. I'm just going to kill this for a second so that we can talk about it. So once it captures that event EVT, what I get it to do is take EVT and get the character that was entered and call that the guess that the person's making. I then get the text in the input box to be reset to blank. I get the answer label to show up as set text user sees. You might be thinking, well, what does user see? So if I come back up to the top, way up here, I have these global variables. These are things that are going to be accessible throughout the entire code. So I have my hidden word. It's Go Blackhawks Go. I'm a Blackhawks fan. That's why I chose that. User sees is 14 dashes. This whole word is 14 letters. So there's 14 dashes here for user to see. So that's what the user sees before they pick anything. And I also have a string for errors. You'll see what that does in a few minutes. A character for guess and an integer for the guess number. And I said to 0 because before you start playing, you haven't made any guesses. Okay. I also have this Boolean called found. So it keeps track of whether you found a letter or not. Originally it's set to false because you have not found any letters yet. After we have the guess in place, what we do is we go into this for loop. And the for loop looks through every letter in the hidden word, going one by one, starting at position 0 and going all the way to position 13. So if we look at Go Blackhawks Go, position 0 is the G, and position 13 is the O at the end. Okay, so what it does is it goes through all those letters, looking for whether or not one of the characters in hidden word at each of those locations is equivalent to the guess that the user made. Okay, and then it keeps track of that location. So I just take that integer, that location, and I call it character location. Okay, just to make it a little more obvious. And what I've done for this program is I actually have it output the character location so you can actually see how this runs. Okay, so when I made my selection before, it actually said that letter A showed up in 2 spots. It shows up in position number 4 and position number 8. Okay, so system.out.println gives you that character location. And then what I need to do is I need to change what the user sees now because they've chosen a few letters. And in HangMan, once you choose the letters, they need to show up. So here's how this works. I use user see dot substring. And basically what this does is it's going to go and keep the dashes for all the locations from 0 up to the character location that was correct. It's then going to take where that character location is correct and place the letter from hidden word there as a substring. And substring is just a smaller part of a bigger string without changing the original string. And then what it's going to do is it's going to use user sees all those dashes again from the location of that character to the end. And what it does every time it iterates is it changes what user C looks like. So it places that all back in user C. So it replaces user C's as a whole bunch of dashes. After the first iteration, it replaces it with user C's, some dashes, and some letters that have been seen. And every time it goes through, more and more letters show up and less dashes show up. And it constantly iterates around until all those dashes are gone. It also displays this to the user, so it sets answer label dot set text to user sees. So user sees, the user actually sees what's happening, and it changes the value of that found boolean to true to say, yep, we have found it. Now, if you don't find it, here's what happens. If you don't find it, if it's not found, okay, your guess number goes up, and it displays this guess as an error, and so it keeps track of all your errors, and then it displays all those errors to the errors displays field on the app. Now, if the guess number gets up to 7, or the user presses escape, that's what this event.getKeyCode equals 27 means. That means you're exiting the game. You've lost or you've given up. Okay, and so what it does is it goes back to the start by saying press any key to start again. It resets guesses to 0, resets errors to blank, it resets user C's to these 14 dashes, and it says answer label dot set text user C's. So you just see the 14 dashes again. So let's play the game again. So what the word is. So I'm going to make some good guesses. I'm going to use G first. Hit enter. I'm going to hit B. Yep, B's in there. L is in there. I'm going to give some bad ones now. How about T? No, T's not in there. R's not in there, so it's displaying those. And I can see how many more letters I need to go, so I'm going to make some more good guesses. I'm going to use W, K, S. I'm going to use O, C, and H. There, I've got it all. Now, if I continue to make bad guesses, it'll continue to keep track of them. So F's not a letter in there. A's not a letter in there. Q's not a letter in there. And then it asks me to restart the game. So now I can press any key, and now it restarts the game. So hopefully this has been helpful. It should be useful when you go write the code for week 13. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me or send me your code if you have any debugging issues. I'd be glad to help. And as always, thanks for watching.